Well, hey, Jenny, how are you today?
I'm good, Rick. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Fourth time on the opener. I think that'll get it right. Good. And
We're
well,
good.
you guys came back
Thank you. Yeah.
third episode in a row.
Hey, everybody.
We're officially on a roll now, right?
Yes.
This is what you would call a bit more of a roll, I think. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Good deal. Now, so
Mhm.
Jenny, not only are you kind of my sidekick here on Travel with Rick, like I appear sometimes on your Must Love Travel chat. So you're here for that. You're a great graphic designer and blogger and all that we've discussed, I guess, on an earlier episode. But you're also a travel advisor at Must Love
I
Travel.
am.
So you talk to Walt Disney World guests day in and day. A lot of your guests are wanting to go to Walt Disney World and are going now, right?
Yes. Yes. It's really started to pick up in the last few months. I would say the last 2 months of 2020. And I have been booking a lot of last minute trips. I have a family I booked last week going next week.
Wow.
And that's not unusual. We're getting a lot of folks that are
Close
just
in.
ready to go back, and spring break's coming up, and everyone's like, I'm over it. I'm going back to my happy place. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of discussion that goes on before I send a client to Disney World, because it has changed since it
Yeah.
reopened last summer. So there's definitely, it's not going to be exactly the exact same experience that you've had in the past, but that doesn't mean it still won't be awesome.
Yeah. I guess that's a lot of that pent up demand that we're talking about right now, right?
Yes.
People are stuck
Yeah.
at home for a few months. They're just ready to get out, almost go anywhere, right? And so
Yeah.
domestic travel is awesome. Walt Disney World's a great location. So what has really changed? What do you think has changed the most at Walt Disney World? I know face coverings for sure, temperature
Yeah.
checks, I guess. What other kinds of things are we aware of as an agency, you as a travel advisor? What do people need to know before they go?
Absolutely. Yes. So the number one is, are the health and safety precautions that are in place, because you can't ignore them. They're very, very, very strict. Disney's very strict. So face coverings age 2 and up. That's age 2. So 24 months old and up, face covering. And they do have zero tolerance with that. There are no exceptions with that rule. So that's probably the number one. Just knowing that things are socially distanced. So lines might appear longer because they look longer, but that's because everyone's standing 6 feet apart. Um, I think just knowing that not all of the hotels have reopened, not all of the restaurants have reopened, but all four of the theme parks are open, and I can't think of a single attraction that isn't open. So the theme parks are in full swing. Crowd levels are still very, very low because Disney's reduced their capacity. So probably the biggest things that I get asked about, or that I make sure everyone knows, is there are no fast passes at the moment. So that includes the fast passes you used to book ahead of time. You can't get them when you're there. It doesn't exist right now. In all honesty, you don't need them right now. So it's really not, I think people panic when they hear that, but it's because they went when the lines were 3 hours long. So without a fast pass,
Mm,
the lines aren't as long right now because the crowds are so much slower.
yeah.
Um, and I think probably the number one question I get asked about are the characters. So, if you aren't already aware, there's no physical interaction with the characters. So you can no longer hug them or get an autograph. And that really freaks a lot of people out. But I was down this past December. So, in the post-COVID world, and I've never seen so many characters in one week at Disney World. They are everywhere. Disney has been so creative with how they have them pop out, and even though they're a little farther away, you can still interact. And so the characters are everywhere. If that's, the hot topic. And then I think almost as important, everyone wants to know about the parades and fireworks. So there's no fireworks right now. That doesn't mean you're not going to see fireworks. You're just not going to know when they're coming. Um, and there's not one big afternoon parade any longer. There's probably something like 20 little mini parades throughout the day that you don't know when they're coming either. We call them pop-up character cavalcades, and it might be one or two floats, dancers, and characters. So you hear the music, you turn around, there's no crowd because no one knew they were coming, and the characters go right by you in really creative ways throughout the different parks. So I would say those are the top, um, changes
Wow. Well,
from the big stuff.
that's awesome. I think you just answered every question that I had right there, and probably every question that you had too. So, do have a couple of follow-ups though, because that's a lot of great information. So, face coverings, vitally important when you go there.
Yeah.
And just remember, it needs to be, Disney calls them face coverings, but it needs to be a mask. So you
Yeah.
cannot use, the bandana type. You just can't wrap that around. I know
Yeah. Or
I kind
the
of like that.
gators
You can't
that
use the
come up.
gator or the buffs that some people call those, the
Yep.
running things, or, a lot of fishermen in Florida and people like outdoors people use those. Can't use those. Can't have the ones with the little vents in them. So
No.
it's got to be a double cloth mask, and it's got to cover your nose. That's what the,
Yeah.
you know,
All the
the,
way.
the Disney spotters, we'll call them that, right?
Put it up your
They're
nose. Put
everywhere.
it
Yeah.
up.
If it droops down a little bit, oh no. Make sure it's up above your
Yep.
nose. So that's for
Yep.
sure. They are doing temperature checks before you enter the parks in some places, right? So
Yep. Before the parks, and also any of the sit down table service restaurants.
right,
So
I
anywhere
remember
that you're
that.
going to be served by a waiter or a waitress, they
Yeah.
do a temperature check there as well.
So you mentioned that not all the resorts are open. So then I would assume that not all the restaurants are open right now either. Then,
That's
right?
correct.
So a lot of
Yeah,
the
not all of the
restaurants.
restaurants. Yep.
Okay,
So
so
every resort that's open has something. It just doesn't, it depends on which resort. Of course, the resorts that have more restaurants to begin with are going to have more that are open.
sure.
Um, the the resorts that have maybe one quick service and one table service, the table service might not be open, but you still have a
Gotcha.
food court, things like
What
that.
about character? What about character meals? Or are they still doing
Character
those
meals,
anywhere?
character meals, another hot topic. So they do exist. There's not as many. I think I want to say off the top of my head, there's maybe 5 right now. Um, the characters come out and interact in a more playful fashion. They do not come to your table because, again, no hugs, no autographs, but they're very clever. They'll come up behind you so your family can snap a picture with them, like behind you, or you can take a selfie with them. It's more about watching them kind of play through the restaurant. They'll stop and pose, things like that. Um, it's still a
Which,
great way to see them all. You just,
yeah,
again, they don't come to your table.
yeah, which has got to be kind of cool, right? I mean, I know coming to your table, doing the group picture right there with the autographs and everything. That's the way we've experienced it in the past. But this new playful way, kind of through the restaurants at a distant distance, has got to be kind of cool too, right? I
It
mean,
is. And
a
I
little
will
different.
tell you, we did one character restaurant while we were there. We did Topolino's, which is on top of the brand new Riviera Resort. Um, at dinner, it's not characters, it's a signature restaurant. But for breakfast, it's Mickey, Minnie, Daisy, and Donald, and they're all European themed, super cute. Mickey's a painter, Daisy's a ballerina, Minnie's a poet. It's just really fun. But I bet we watched 4 rotations of each character just during the course of our meal, which, if you've been to a character meal in the past, you pretty much get to see each character one time. And then by the time they cycle through, it's time for you to go. Now I mean, it was just there never wasn't one of them out being playful, and coming around. I bet we saw each one 4 times. So,
Wow.
so that's kind of cool. I mean, that's like better in a way. You get to see more of
Yeah.
them.
All right. So that's resorts. restaurants. We talked about fireworks. So nothing has even replaced. So this is going to tell you where I'm at in my Disney experience recently. Not a lot, but nothing has replaced Reflections of Earth in Epcot. Then we don't have
Not yet.
fireworks there yet, right?
No,
So
no
okay, so
fireworks, no happily ever after.
right,
For New Year's Eve, they didn't do a big fireworks. Anything that would draw a crowd, they're not
yeah,
going to do. So they won't say we're going to have a huge fireworks display at 9 p.m.
right,
They're just not going to do that. If you are, we had dinner one night at the Contemporary at the California Grill, so we're overlooking, and about every 15 to 30 minutes, it staggers. It's not every 15 minutes, but it kind of staggers. You'd see some shoots of fireworks out from behind the castles, and there was a lot of light projection, but it's just not timed the way it
right,
used to be. So
got it.
yeah, that's a good way to think about if you're wondering if something is going to be a different experience. If it's anything that would have been a set time that people would start gathering hours before the event, they're not doing any of that because they don't want the
Hmm.
gathering.
All right, so resorts, restaurants, character meals, fireworks, parades, theme parks. We talked about no fast passes. Well, talked about no fast passes, but how about park hopping? That's back now, right? We can park hop
It
again, right?
just came back. Yeah. So that one is, again, a little bit of a different experience. So with the new park pass reservation system, so you need your park ticket to enter a park, but you also need your park pass, which is your reservation in. Even if you have a park hopper ticket, you still need to get a park pass reservation for the first park that you want to enter that day. So if you want to go to Magic Kingdom in the morning and Epcot for dinner, you need a park pass for Magic Kingdom. Starting at 2 p.m., there's a phone number that you can call. It will tell you which parks are available for park hopping, and then you can simply go to any of the parks that are open. So you can't start park hopping until 2, and there's no guarantee that the park you want to go to will be available. If it's reached its capacity, it might not be. We haven't seen a lot of that though. It's only been about a month and a half since the new system, and I haven't heard of anyone not being able to get into their second park. Maybe during peak season, spring break, holidays, things like that might be a little harder, but
Got it. So that's very, very important, folks, to remember. Whether you want to park hop or not, you still need your
yes.
park admission along with a reservation. So having your park ticket and getting up and saying, I'm going to the Magic Kingdom today does not work. So you make
Right.
sure you have that reservation. So you need to make sure that, again, in addition to your ticket, you're not guaranteed you'll get into the park with that. You need to have a park reservation, right? How do they get that reservation, Jane?
They do it through
Call
their
you.
mind is they do it through us. Yeah. No. And we'll advise you. Disney's actually uh really wants their guests to go in and do their own park pass reservations because there's like this enormous legal
Sure.
waiver that you are
Yeah,
signing.
of course.
So I think what all of us advisors, travel agents, advisors do is we walk you through it. We make sure you understand. You just go to your My Disney Experience account, and once your tickets are linked, there's another section now for park reservations. It's just like any other reservation. You pick your day, you pick your people, you pick your park, you hit confirm after you read the waiver or check mark the waiver box,
Right.
and then you've got your park pass. And you can change your park passes as long as the new park you want to go to is available. You can always change it. But I'm telling you, they do fill out. They do sell out. When I was there, I was not able to visit Hollywood Studios because there were no park passes available the whole week that I was there for
Oh,
Hollywood
wow.
Studios.
So you
That's
can
the
do
hot one
them,
right now.
you can do them more than one day out, right? So you can do multiple
You do
days
them
in advance and
immediately.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
Awesome.
you book for next December, I'm going to tell you get your park passes now. Change them down
Okay.
the road if you want,
So it's not
but get your
60
park passes.
days. It's not 60 days
No,
or
you get
90
your
days. Got it.
not at all. You get your park
Cool.
passes the minute you have a confirmation number. You pop it in there and then you're eligible to select your park passes.
All right. So with all of these changes, resorts, restaurants, theme parks, everything, fireworks, the whole thing, parades. I guess the question I'm going to ask, I've already answered it for myself, but I want to hear your answer. Is it still fun to go to Disney?
It is so fun. It's not even like, oh, it's okay fun. It is so fun. Rick, when I first walked down Main Street and I got to that area in front of the castle, there was hardly anyone over at the partner statue. We were
Mm,
able to get pictures in front of the partner statue with the castle behind us and Mickey and Walt above us with hardly anyone around. Then we were able to go right up to the front of the castle and same thing, take
wow.
pictures. I'm like posing, and there's no one else in the picture, just me in the castle. It was so
Very cool.
special. It's a blast as long as you're prepared. I think
Yeah.
that's the big thing. Just know what to expect. You're gonna have so much fun.
Yeah, and I think that kind of sums up everything right there, Jenny. Not just for today, not just for Walt Disney World, but I think that's kind of the world we're living in now, right? It's just know before you go
Yeah.
and be prepared,
Yeah.
and make sure you take some patience, make sure you take a little understanding with you because everything has changed, and that's not all bad. But
Mhm.
you just got to be aware and you just got to be willing if you want to go and you're willing to wear a face covering in the park and you're willing to, just understand there are changes, you're still going to have a blast. It's still, a wonderful, wonderful place to visit. And this year is the 50th anniversary. So why would you want to go? Right.
Yes. Yes.
All
And
right.
I promise you those face masks are not as bad as they sound.
And,
I was like I was like, how am I gonna wear a face mask all day?
right. And
It's
we didn't
it's no
touch on
big
it.
deal.
There are comfort stations available
Yeah.
as well. Places where you can go, take a little break, take your mask off, catch up on your social media, whatever you want to do there,
Yes.
take a little nap, whatever's going to do. Well, you can't stay with so long, so don't take a long nap. But
30-minute nap.
but there are places that you can go and get away and
Yeah.
just relax, even at your resort. It still felt like home for me. I know it feels like home for you. Lots of our friends and guests are feeling the same thing. So you can't stay away, even if it's changed a little. You still got to go, and we're going to be going back. Hopefully more and more this year as soon as we're
Yeah.
able. So. And let's give a big plug for Must Love Travel. We haven't done that in a couple of episodes that we've been back, Jenny. So
Yep.
Travel with Rick is brought to you by a generous grant from Must Love Travel, overseen by my wife Leslie. So the grant, not well, everything else pretty much too. But we do want to show appreciation for Must Love Travel for helping us bring this to you. And if you're planning a vacation to Walt Disney World or even Disney Cruise Line, or hopefully somewhere in the future when Disneyland in California opens again, there or anywhere else in the world, all inclusives in Mexico and the Caribbean and Hawaii. Well, not so much all inclusives in Hawaii, but Hawaii. So anywhere you're thinking about going, any cruise line, any destination, we are your travel advisors for that, right, Jenny?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm just gonna plug for all of my fellow travel advisors something that's probably different from when you stopped or took your pause with Travel with Rick to now is our advisors. We do specialize in the world now, not just Disney.
Yeah.
So that is, we're here to help get you anywhere, and we're excited to do it. We're so excited to talk to people about traveling.
That's absolutely right. All that pent up demand, if you're experiencing that, we have a travel advisor at Must Love Travel who is ready and willing, excited even
Yeah.
to help you with those magical travel memories. Listen,
Yep.
we can't stay at home forever. We've got to
Mhm.
get out there and start exploring the world again, Jenny.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still a beautiful world, so let's
It,
not forget that.
It totally is. Well, listen, this was great, great information. I appreciate you being here and helping and sharing all this wonderful information with us. It was great to have you here and to get through it. Now I feel like I can go to Walt Disney World and understand a little more. I got my pass, I got my reservation, I'm ready to roll. So,
Awesome. My
all
pleasure,
right.
Rick. Always a pleasure.
All right. Well, thanks, Jenny. Thanks for watching, everybody. Listen, leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know how you're doing. We're getting through the pandemic. We hope you are too. When you're ready to travel again, Muscle Up Travel is ready to help you. And when we're ready to travel again, hopefully we'll get out of this office and Jenny will get out of Rhode Island and we'll get out on the road somewhere and we'll bring you some more cool stuff from out there. But in the meantime, we're going to keep bringing it to you from in here every week until we can get back out there. So be well, travel safe. We'll see you right back here next time. Thanks, Jenny. So long, everybody.
Bye.